What's going on, guys? It is Wednesday, November 27th, 2024. I am Sebastian Cargill. This is Listen for Commands. We have a very special guest. We have Georgia's own Andrew Cargill. Big hand for Andrew.
I know. I'm happy to be back on.
Reoccurring guest. You the vaunted club of reoccurring guests. You and Craig and Mike Gold, right?
Oh, perfect.
Three of you have been reoccurring.
Yeah.
Actually, in Chloe will be reoccurring when we have her on in a couple weeks. But excited to have this on. Obviously, a lot of what we talk about is meet directorship, and we don't really get a lot of meet directors on, but Andrew is one of them. What's been going on? Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Finally made 22.
Old ass motherfucker. 22.
I know, man. I'm getting old, man. I realize next year is my last year to be a junior. I'm like, dang, that's kind of a brutal realization. Like that was realizing I'm gonna have to be open in 26 is like, it's kind of a crazy thought. Like I don't have a choice in it at all. So that's fine. This will be my last year doing like junior nats up in Reno in 25. So I mean, everything's been chilling. Got a couple meets coming up. Just planning. I've already got a plan all of 25 out, so that's exciting. And I've got
you want to give us a little teaser of the 2025 stuff?
Yeah. So I mean, right now in Georgia, we have pretty much the first half of our year set up already. Georgia's still growing, so it's not a meet every month. But first month in Georgia, we've got the Field Factory meet. I think it's called Lift Field, hosted by Jaslyn.
What's like your average meet size? Are you guys doing 2-day stuff, or what are you?
Oh God, no. So our average meet size is normally 40. Like we only have like one session, one platform meets. Our state meet that's coming up though is the biggest PA meet I think in the Southeast so far. And I'm saying that excluding like Louisiana. It's got 104 lifters right now. So that's gonna stay a 1-day, 2-platform, 3-session meet.
Really? Okay. That's a long day. Anytime you get into 3 sessions. So is it 2 sessions and then prime time? Is that
so we didn't illustrate it as a prime time. However, the way we designed the flight setups is we wanted that third session to all be open lifters, and we started from the heaviest weight classes going down. So third session's like the heavyweight opens, and then transitions to lighter weight opens and heavyweight juniors, and then first sessions like sub juniors, juniors, and masters are kind of across.
Is that the one that Perk is doing?
No. There was someone signed up as Austin Perkins. They put in the wrong name, so we have changed it since.
Okay. So that was a joke. I'm like Austin Perkins. Yeah. I thought he was from the South, so I'm like, okay, maybe he's doing it just to like try to break some records and stay fresh.
No,
because dude,
he lives in Texas.
Yeah, I knew that, but I know I think he was from the South. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? There's a long gap between that and Sheffield. Maybe he's going to do something. And I guess that was a meme.
Yeah, no, he's not. That would have been sick though if he was. We are having some people. We're having a lot of heavy hitters, not like open nats or stuff, but some first time like Dwight Burns is coming over, which will be cool. He's a big USAPO guy that's swapping over, so that'll be cool to have some other first time PA people coming.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so the 14th is your Georgia State Championship. So that's a huge. So the 14th, I think there's like 15, 20 PA meets that day.
Probably.
It's a big meet because obviously you're not going to have meets the next week, and then the week after that's New Year, so you're not going to have. So like everything consolidates. Yeah. Man, I wish we had better marketing because what I would do is I would make that local meet day in America. Right, I would do a whole marketing campaign because obviously one of the big critiques, and we're going to get into critiques of the federations. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But one of the big critiques of PA is we don't have enough local meets, and like, of course, like we don't have enough local meets, and so, obviously, local meets require directors. You know, getting directors requires like actually going out and finding directors. Like, not everyone's just going to go like me and reach out. Like sometimes it takes a little bit more of an effort. So I would love to see a campaign around local meets because there's nothing going on.
I agree.
I'd love to see that. I'm always going to hold the position that the professional is the most important because it reaches the most people. But
I agree.
it doesn't mean that like there can't be a concerted. I've heard people even talk about how every federation should have one person on staff dedicated to local directors. And I'm like, that's probably not the worst idea. Like to have a,
I don't hate
Luke
that.
is basically that guy. So
Yeah,
like,
Luke
it's like,
does. Poor Luke. I know he's got
but like,
everybody.
yeah, it should just be one. That should be their entire job is to grow the
Yeah,
local. It should just be one person, one job.
yeah,
Put together like full. Actually, I'm gonna do some content around like local meat direction. I'm gonna make like a couple guides and stuff because there's no content. There's no content for meat
yeah.
direction, and
Nothing to show.
meat direction is one of the most complicated things I've ever done. Like my
It
gym
can get
business,
crazy.
my 22,000 square foot gym with 1,000 members is
Yeah,
way less complicated than running a meet. Like a meet is
yeah,
crazy. The number of staff, objects, things you need is
yeah.
absolutely nuts.
All the small little things.
There's so many. I mean, checklists are so important. I mean, you just have to have massive checklists of different
Oh
things.
yeah,
Um, Otherwise, you're not going to be good. So, yeah, I'm looking a little bit of interest. You got the Georgia State Championship,
yeah. So we
and
got that one
then
coming up this year. January is a field meet. We're not hosting it, but it's a local gym that opened up back in July. Then our next one that we'll be hosting is actually the Gauntlet of
the
Power.
Gauntlet of Power.
Oh yeah, that one I'm stoked for. We're actually hosting the festival for it. So it's a sports festival that we're hosting, and the sports festival is called the Gauntlet of Power. So we've rebranded our Valhalla Weights into the Powerlifting America Gauntlet of Power meet. So we're super excited for that. We've got a strongman competition, Olympic lifting, kettlebell, and trying to get an arm wrestling for our location in Dalton right now. So I'm stoked for that. That one's gonna be a blast when it comes about. That's gonna be a
Yeah.
lot.
So let's dive into that a little because this actually
Yeah,
interests me. So let's talk. Let's go over the whole. I mean, we got time, right?
yeah,
Let's go over the whole thing. So like, let's talk inception to like to creation. Like, so what's the
yeah,
whole process? Are you talking to? It's a convention center, so I assume you're talking to the
yep,
CVB. For those of you who don't know, CVBs are called Convention and Visitor Bureaus.
yeah,
So when we want to run events outside of gyms, the CVBs are like kind of quasi local government type entities. They want to promote tourism. So they
yeah.
will typically do deals for you if you're going to work into a convention center. So talk to me a little bit about like what kind of deal are you guys doing a deal with them? What's that whole process for that event?
So right now we're honestly still trying to finalize it because the big thing was beforehand is getting these other events. And so we've still been working on getting these events. All the ones I just said are on contract right now. So we've got 4 events confirmed, trying to add another one. So we're actually about to go back to them kind of like, hey, this is what we have, our proposal. So we're still working on that. We've already had like our initial deal with the rental of the facility, which has been great. We've actually went there this past year to host our last Valhalla Awaits, and it's a nice convention center, beautiful. A lot of kind of like small downtown areas, go to bars and restaurants
Yeah.
afterwards. So it just a great way to have a meet and a festival, in my opinion. Spend a great weekend out. You're like 20 minutes from Chattanooga or 30 minutes. So for us, we're hoping for the CVB. We're going to be talking to them really right after Thanksgiving break because we're kind of waiting on them after that because we have just about everybody confirmed now. Hopefully, getting this arm wrestling event added today, if not Friday. So I'm stoked for that. Honestly, it's been in depth wise, the hardest part has been getting these other events. Like it's hard getting we're starting a brand new festival, not really a much backing or name of it to really kind of base yourself off of. So we've had to build a layer of trust with a lot of these event coordinators for we didn't knew who the strongman was. We actually have some buddies that do Olympic coaching and stuff, and they've wanted to host an Olympic meet for a while. So we're working with them on it. They'll be coming up. Kettlebell, we know personal connection with them. So it's been building honestly just a whole lot of trust, working what we can to try and help grow it. And after this coming week, we're gonna have to start doing that push because we'll be about 3-4 months out as far as the end of this week.
Yeah. So are they renting that space from you that you're renting from the convention center, or is it a ticketing arrangement? Like, how does that?
So No, they aren't renting us. We've rented the entire convention center. That's where
Okay,
we're kind of showing our value is hey, we've rented the convention center. How much space
perfect.
do you need? So
Yeah.
we're offering them what floor space do you need? This is what you'll do. They pay us a event fee and they have to handle a contract. Pretty much just we know you're going to be a part of this event and you're kind of locked into it. So we aren't going to expect you to back out a week out. So that's pretty much what the contract's for, an event fee. After that, we take all the spectators fee because we're bringing everybody in. We've handled the venue, this premier venue where you're having all these events. So we kind of handle all the we get all the spectator fees and they get a free venue, which
What
someone
are you
like
guys
me,
charging? What are you guys charging spectator fees?
we'll do 30 and 12 and under. We're going to do for free because we want the youth to be involved. Like for
Yeah,
us in
right.
powerlifting, we want that to be a thing. So for
Yes,
us, it's going to
yes.
be 30. This
Yeah.
is kind of our first big festival, so we're excited. It's going to be a lot of testing around, but I'm excited. We've got a good lineup of how it's going to go. Just the festival in general, and then the Gauntlet of Power. That will be our signature meet where we're going to go ridiculous on. Like we've
Yeah,
already got.
you got to get. So you're the Gauntlet of Power. You got to get like the football gauntlet with the little with
Yeah,
like the things, and so the kids don't get like an aggressive one, but get one the kids can
yeah,
run through and stuff. Like
yeah. Just
like
get something else in there to get them active in it.
yeah, and these
Yeah,
yeah. So like that's a big thing I really want to play on because every other sport does this really well. They all
yeah,
have these kids activity zones because remember sports. I mean, sports are about your dad bringing you as a kid to a game.
yeah,
Like that's literally the entire demographic is like parents bringing kids, and then it's also like a group of like teenage to college age guys going to a game.
yeah,
It's like one of two things. Those are
yeah,
your customers. If you're a sports organization, those are your customers when it comes to in-person stuff. And so how you attract the younger kids is it's like a father-son thing, it's kid zones. And then how you
yeah,
attract that teenage older demographic is by just having a lot of beer. Right. And
yeah.
so are you guys doing anything like are you guys doing drinks? Like what you have something
That
going on
is the
there?
plan. We'll be having the convention center has like catering options as well as alcoholic beverages. So we're talking to them, kind of see what we can actually do as far as like legally wise, because they'll probably handle that. Something we also really want to do is they have a little suite that kind of overlooks the entire thing. So we want to try and set up like a VIP room where if
Yes.
you're there for 10 hours a day, you're gonna have some little free time. If hey, your athlete just went, you know you got another hour, head up to the VIP room, grab a drink, maybe a couple snacks. So that's something we're really hoping to build on because a lot like you, we want to build the spectator. If we can build the experience for them, it's only going to be better for everybody. They're going to have a better
Yeah.
time. The athletes are going
So
to have a better time. Like it's overall, everyone's going to be more happy with it.
yeah. So here's my kind of new thing. I've really and this is just for local meets. Obviously, I think the
Yeah,
pro level is almost a whole different ball of wax. Like that's a multi-million-dollar investment type thing. When we're talking local level, I think a really good way to monetize things at the local level without being a total asshole. So the reason I say total asshole is like if
yeah,
you like we already charge $20 for entry. I think
yeah,
that's a lot. That's like that is the most I can't I like 30 for a festival is fine. But
yeah.
20 for a local meet is like literally as
It's
much
hard.
as it's still a
Yeah,
lot. It's a lot for a family, but it's as much
yeah,
as I can possibly charge. I'm not charging more than
yeah,
that unless it's a really premium event.
yeah.
But
And I agree.
what I can do, which is fair, is take the first two rows, make those
Yeah,
VIP. Okay. So if you
yeah,
want a more premium experience, and we also include like a food package with that, if you come to one of our higher level meets and you buy a VIP ticket, it's $50. You get to
yeah.
sit in the front row, and it includes a meal ticket.
I
So
think that's good.
it's fair. So
Yeah,
we're not charging more, right?
yeah,
Which would just is crazy, especially when it's still a local thing with friends and family.
yeah,
But people are agreeing to pay more because they're offered more.
yeah.
And
It's
if
hey,
you do
this
want
is
to pay
an
20
option.
bucks, yeah, if you want to pay 20 bucks, you could just sit in the next 5 rows.
Yeah,
I
cool.
think that is the future of higher level powerlifting competitions. It's offering. I mean, I
Agreed.
talk about the illegal barbecue all the time. That is,
Yeah,
if you can
I
somehow
love that.
bottle that, yes, there's nothing. There was nothing more perfect. I couldn't
Yeah,
think of a. So it was the first time ever in the history of powerlifting where you, or maybe aside from Sheffield, where you had all the best lifters in 2 flights. Like all the best lifters from the event, every lifter was a very good lifter. And so I got to MC that. I was sitting right there.
Yeah.
And then you had all these people eating barbecue. And then if you didn't want to watch the meet and you just wanted to shoot the shit, you were outside with your friends. It was $50. It included barbecue. It included an event. You got 2 drink tickets. There was live music. Everything you could possibly want was there.
You're as happy as you could be.
Yes, it was a warm Texas summer night. Like you couldn't have like painted a picture better than what it was. I mean, the fact that isn't the model for every single national event, I'm like tearing up a little. It was just so perfect that everything they did. Now, I did hear that it's very expensive for them to do that. And they pay like their staff like $35 an hour to be there. So there are some economics. Yeah. Can you imagine for like 6 hours, 20 staff at 30 an hour?
Yeah. Jeez, man.
So obviously there's some calibration that needs to be done.
Yeah.
There, right. For sure. And like that's where good business comes in. You've got this model, right? Yeah. And then now you've got to tweak the model. You've got to cut costs. You've got to kind of move things around and get that to work.
That's always how it is, though.
Yeah. So my thing is I want every meet to somehow look like that, right? And I genuinely think at the local level, there's no reason you can't do that, right? Picnic tables outside, food trucks, beer truck. You don't even have to buy the food. Food trucks, or people can buy the food themselves. Food trucks, beer trucks.
Yeah.
Yard games. There were a bunch of yard games. There was live music.
Yep.
That's the vision.
Yeah.
For the sport, right? No one disagrees
I agree
with that. I think honestly, we should build a model for people that they can copy that's like that.
Yeah.
And then what you do, you scale it, right? You just make it bigger, more people, bigger venues, more. Yeah. You know,
I mean, that's just what it is. That's what you need.
Right. I mean, we're on the same page with that. I think. Yeah. I think everyone's on the same page with that. I just think sometimes when you're an entrepreneur or you're in charge, you get tired. Right. It's a reality. You get tired.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work to do that next thing. Right. And I think that's what happens a lot of times. I think a lot of times people have the best intentions and just can't get it done because they're tired or because they don't have enough staff or they're not willing to reach out for help. But I think there's definitely something there to be said about that. And here's another thing too. If you're Powerlifting America, those guys aren't getting paid extra if they do a good job. Yeah. Me and you, when we run a meets and we do a really good job, we make extra money. So there's an incentive. I'm lit up. I'm like, we're gonna fucking I'm gonna fucking do the craziest live stream. I'm gonna fucking make all this shit, right? Because everyone's gonna love it. And so that's the difference. That's the difference between what powerlifting's doing and what other sports do, right? When other sports do a good job, they make more money. Right. And that's kind of like the issue right now. And it has nothing to do with the people involved. It's just the structure of everything.
And I mean, it's a whole lot when you want, like, a lot of meet directors are in their own positions of where they have to figure out different ways. So like us, we don't have a gym. Local meets are a little more difficult and stuff, and finding venues, that's a whole nother venture. And it costs us a lot more than the normal meet director does. We have transport, we have to pay for the new venue for a couple days, and then normally we have to pay for volunteers because we don't have like gym members and stuff. So like for us, we want to continue and expand. All right, how can we enhance the experience and make it actually work for us? Because for us, I mean, we want to go to these Atlanta Open was at the International Convention Center. Like we got lucky at that event. Most people know kind of like what happened with it. It was originally a part of another festival. It was canceled like 2 weeks out. So we had to rent it ourselves, which was a whole fiasco. But just
but they're gonna take some money as opposed to no money in that situation, right? That's kind of how that ended up.
So we got it for a better deal than what it was. But if it was we had to pay what it normally is, like we couldn't have done it. Like,
what's the normal cost for something like that?
I think they had their daily it was either 12 or 15, but that's that's the day of, and Friday would have costed us like another, like the setup day, like another 5 or 7. Then that Sunday they would have charged us about the same. We're like, we're not doing that. Like, I'm not going to pay you 25 grand
Right.
for
There's no, I mean, that's
yeah,
100 entries at 250.
yeah. Like, there's no way I'm doing that. There's
Yeah.
no level of that where that makes sense. But so we made it work. We got down to a deal that made it somewhat reasonable, where our door was pretty much able to cover. But for us, it's a pretty much like we got lucky and broke even at that meet. That meet that had some of the strongest athletes in the Southeast, and it was nice. We had food stands, we had a bunch of sponsors that helped us out, but we have to expand it. So like Valhalla, my company is working on different what's some other entertainment wise we can give spectators, what's some other things, like we're literally working on trying to make a monster mocktail bar. It sounds crazy, but it's
Yeah.
just
No.
make it
That's
just
so
fun
here.
little gimmicks.
Yeah. So when I hear that, I'm like, fucking give me 12. Fucking give me 12.
Yeah.
No, so what are things that are quintessential to like powerlifting, right? White Monster, right? Everyone knows the
Yeah.
legend of White Monster and powerlifting.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you take that and you do like you make monster related drinks because that's what everyone does. That's what everyone like. You
Oh,
immerse
yeah.
culture into your experiences and your
Yeah.
marketing, right? What do people like to see that are powerlifters? What do powerlifters do?
Yep.
Powerlifters love anime, right? How can you do something anime related, right? Like, can you put Super Smash Bros on a projector, right? With
Yeah.
with the Switch. Like, what do powerlifters like? What do powerlifting fans like? And then
Yeah.
do that. Like, it's like I said,
Like,
it's usually a matter of will to get that shit done.
yeah. This morning I had a White Monster pina colada with pineapple and coconut juice. And it was quite possibly one of the best things I've had in a long time. So
Yeah.
it's out there and it's able, and it was rather scrumptious. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Right. No, but
But
that's good stuff. That's stuff. I mean, worst case, you're making content off that. Worst case, you're taking
yeah,
pictures in front of it and you're showing people what you're doing.
yeah. It's
Absolutely.
a fun little thing, and if it doesn't really make me anything, but someone has a better time knowing they had it, cool.
Yeah.
I made someone a little bit happier in the meet. They're gonna
Well,
want to
have you
come
talked to like the local reps and all about that? Like the local
what do you
Coke.
mean?
So Coke distributes Monster. So there's probably a local rep that promotes.
Oh yeah. Well, we're still working on a couple of things. Like we're working on getting like a mobile bar set up, and trying to work on the different flavors, different types of stuff we can do. So we're still kind of working on. We're hoping to have it at the state meet. Just hopefully having a worker at the Valhalla booth that's able to kind of be a mixologist and kind of deal with that. Um, right now it's still kind of in the testing things right now.
Yeah. Same jam. Like what we'll do, what I'll do, what I've gone to do is I'll have food trucks just come and park here. I've got a really
Yeah,
good taco truck. They
that's good.
park and they can do their stuff. And then I want to add a beer. So they do like a tap a
Yeah,
pour truck.
yeah.
I want to do that as well.
I've seen those. Those are nice.
And so we'll have that, and then people can buy their own drinks there. The only problem is we don't get a cut of that, right? Because that becomes a
Yeah,
liquor licensing thing.
yeah.
So that's why it's so important that we can grow into a venue where we can get a piece of the liquor sales. Because if everyone
Yeah.
buys a $10 drink and we
Oh
make,
yeah.
if we sell 1,000 drinks, that's no extra $2,000, right? And like
Oh
that's
yeah.
then you
Easily.
don't have to make money on anything else. You can make money on the liquor or the
Oh
food
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Easily.
Or worst case, this family owns the taco truck I bring out, and I'm taking care of them as a small business. So like
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about that. Um, but yeah, I think that I think everyone's on the same page with what we want to do in terms of
Yeah.
that stuff. It's just
Yeah.
it's obviously I mean our biggest issue is obviously not having enough events, right?
Yeah.
Powerlifters don't want to compete that or at the high level don't want to compete that frequently, frankly, because there isn't an incentive for them to do so. If you're
Yeah.
Jesus, why are you doing Powerlifting American Nationals if you don't have to, right?
Yeah.
It sucks
No,
for
I
us.
mean,
We
I
don't get to
agree.
compete, but
Yeah.
there's no reason for him to. He does not get. He gets nothing. He gets nothing to
Yeah.
to. I mean, especially
Yeah.
with like, I guess Timur's moving down to 120, but I think when Timur was like kind of catching up to him, like there's no reason for him to risk like getting, exhausting himself at PA Nats for that reason. But anyway, let me go back to our topic list so we can go. Yeah, the only other meet I see is that there's the DNA Legacy, May 10th. Hello? Brendan, did we lose? Did we lose that
Yeah.
meet? I did that meet last year. I actually competed.
Yeah.
That was fun. Is that that's at DNA Strength again?
Yeah. So that's coming back May 10th. We're excited by that. I believe it's it says it on there, so I don't think I'm spoiling that it's powered by Avances.
Yes, it is.
So
Yeah.
that's gonna be really cool. I know Alex Waters, the meet director last year, is a lot of connections. So I think that meet's gonna be fun. I think Worker, that's grown to be a good brand, is gonna come out, Avances. So I think they're gonna start doing bigger cash prizes for that event. So I think that's awesome. I think it's gonna be cool. I can't wait to see what he does with it.
Yeah, that meet had some talent last year. It was good.
Yeah.
So they gotta move. They gotta get a venue around there. Honestly.
Yeah. So I'm telling him we need to redo the layout.
Yes, you could easily do the layout. It's gonna be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But you can easily just take the equipment and fucking move it out the bay door.
That's what we've talked about it.
It's May 10th. It's gonna be middle of the summer.
And that's what I think we're gonna do. Because I've
tried to put a tent out in the back.
And that's we're probably gonna have like food trucks back there and different stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like the plan is I want the platform on the other side of the room, so the warm-up room is connected to the actual platform. That way there's not a bunch of cross sections and not because
you have to loop back around.
Yeah,
that wasn't the end of the world. Honestly,
yeah.
I thought it was gonna be a disaster. They do need to get porta potties like that.
Yeah, and they already planned that in for next year. So I mean, that was his first meet ever hosting himself. So I think he learned a lot. I kind of helped him kind of hold his hand.
No, listen. I thought it was going to be a disaster. It was so much fun. The energy makes up for a lot of shit. If you have good energy at a meet, it makes up for a lot of stuff. The aesthetics were nice. The stream was good. It checked most of the boxes. It's just like I people may take that the wrong way of me being critical. It's like I'm critical because it was good. And so all you have to do is fix the fucking 3 or 4 things and now you're good. Like that's it. Just fix those 3 or 4
normally all it is.
The problem is a lot of people don't fix those 3 or 4 things and then it goes years and years and years of the same meet with the same, thing that could have been fixed with $150 in porta potties.
And like I'm gonna say we host pretty good meets. Like we have a high standard. Like someone felt bad because the other day I went to their meet and they asked me how it's going. I'm like, it's going decent, it's going. And they're like pissed I wasn't like praising them, but I'm like, guys, like I just hold a high standard. Like if you want me to be honest, I can
you would have to do a fuck ton of dude, even the IPF, like the IPF, that was one of the worst ran meets. Like there's just so many little things break during their meets. Like a lot of times your meet will be very good if if you just make sure the technology, if you just make sure the referees are paying attention and the meet just flow. Flow is the most if there's a list of the most important things, I think the energy of the atmosphere is the most important. If you have good energy in the atmosphere, it covers a lot of your shit.
Yeah. It's hard to go wrong with that.
Right. And then the other thing is
as long as the meet runs and flows,
right? No big
you've got a good meet.
I'm trying to think what else. I think the only thing is just making sure to not have to wait for the bathrooms like that. That's a big one, and that because it's so easy to solve with porta potties, like not having comp equipment. That's an expensive thing, and I understand. As long as you have good squat racks, you're fine. You should, at this point, with how we've evolved in powerlifting, you should have 4 comp racks in your warm-up room.
I think so too.
They had that. The warm-up room was a little cramped though.
It was. I think we're gonna redesign how it's set up. The plan is, I think, just kind of talking to him.
Believe it or not, there was just too much in there. If you had 4 regular platforms, you would have been fine.
And I think it's next time they do it, we're going to have a box truck that's going to take out all the equipment and just hold it in there. So we're going to have all that extra space and also set it up so it's only 2 flights. We might do 2 sessions and 2 flights. That way we don't have 50% more lifters, 50% more spectators
Right.
sitting around it. It's super packed the entire
Well,
day.
no. So here's where I think you should think about that. I've found that you got to find a sweet spot, right? 42 is probably too many, but if
Yeah.
you get to that like 30, so like if you book 36 lifters, 6 are going to drop, and then you're at 30. If you go down to 24, your crowd size goes down, and then you don't get that
Yeah.
atmosphere. So I think there is a balance. Like I am doing, because I've obviously committed to it. 24 lifter type sessions is what I want to commit
Yeah.
to. But I think people should consider making the sessions just a little bigger. I found that as an athlete, 42 wasn't too long. It was fine. It's a long day for the staff for sure,
Yeah.
but think about it. I think 2 sessions of 30 is probably really good, because that's a good financial day too.
Yeah.
That's like $6,000 in entries. You can do a really
It's
nice
decent.
meet with six
Yeah. I
grand.
mean, yes, definitely it kind of differ. Like again, me, it differs a little bit. Just where am I? Where am I going? What are my kind of mobility moving costs? Like to me, that's just
Oh,
my
okay.
big.
So here.
Yeah.
That's your responsibility. You guys got to figure. Like, come on, let's figure that out.
No, I mean we're
Like,
doing good. Like we're doing
yeah.
decent.
No, I mean, I think I would love to see you guys in your own. I think we've talked about this a lot. I think we talked about it.
Yeah.
I've talked with you and your dad 3 or 4 times. I think you guys shouldn't open a gym. You guys should just open a space. I mean, it should be a gym, but it should be a space designed for events. Why
So
not?
for an
That's so
event, I mean,
that's so unique. You get a warehouse, you put a bunch of you put all your shit in there. You guys have a bunch of
yeah,
shit. Charge, 50, $60 a month for a membership, and
yeah,
then build a platform and a stage. And then now you don't have to move anything anymore. You can just have
yeah.
everyone come to your venue, do your
Which
meets there, do different themes and stuff.
yeah, it is good, and I like the idea. It's we've seen it. Like I'm just gonna call them out in Georgia for USAPL. 9 out of the 11 meets are all hosted at one gym, and the gym has gone. It's just repetitive. It's a people get tired of it, and it's a you could
Right.
tell it's money
I
scheme
mean,
for them.
we got the same thing in Illinois. The exact same
Yeah,
thing in
like I
Illinois.
mean,
We have they run the same 60 lifter meet four
yeah,
times a year, and they call it a day. The meet never improves. It never changes.
yeah,
It's just like
and
they do a couple little things, and
yeah,
that's basically it. And they just farm. It's like a farm. It's good. I mean, that's a
yeah.
nice business to just farm that
And I
much
don't
out.
think it's not bad. It's not a horrible thing to do. For us, what I would like to do is literally get like a 2,000 square foot place, just have it as our storage thing and have a small little because we're starting to do a lot more work just with the festivals. We've got a lot other stuff going on with like the apparel rental sides of things, and have a little workspace. And all right, that extra 800,000 square feet is just a small little, just little mini place. I've got a little rack and maybe just a couple buddies go to. But for us, it's a gym isn't feasible. Just there's way too many powerlifting gyms in Georgia right now. There's just too many. You can't put it anywhere that's not going to be priced out the door, just ridiculous. And it's just hard to push on that until we say, all right, screw it. We're going to get a 20,000 square foot place. And we're not in a position to do that yet, especially when we have all these mobility, like we're going to Dalton. And in July of 25, we're actually going to Sevierville, Tennessee to host another festival. Like we've rented out the Sevierville Convention Center up there in Tennessee, where we're also going. Like the festivals where we're going to be moving and active. Like we plan on moving the equipment at least once a month, once every other month, whether it's rentals or our meets. Like it doesn't make sense on us to do that, especially if we open a gym where all right, hey, we open, we're gonna take this out once a week, every month.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that is the right way to do it. That's kind of my next move might be something like that, where I build just a dedicated event center. Obviously, there's a unit next door that I could totally
Yeah.
that's available that I could potentially do stuff in.
For us, that's just
Um,
another monthly. And we're not able to cover a whole nother probably 5 times the monthly what we pay for a storage unit right now.
oh yeah, so right, you wouldn't move stuff into the okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
just for us, it just doesn't feasibly make sense unless we have something that we can walk in and be like, all right, this is already covered, or at least most of it. Like if it's a little bit off, okay, we could probably justify this and justify us having less moving costs and less dealing with all this hassle. But until that's we have that, make it feasible where we're making enough monthly to cover that. Like this isn't like I don't make any money off the job right now. Like I don't. But hopefully it grows into that point where we can figure it out how it does. Just right now it's not at that point where we can spend 20,000 a month on a facility.
Right, yeah, that's a whole different ball of wax, like I've talked about before.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see. We'll go back to our topic list. Do we were talk about the USAPL? We're gonna shit on them again, or?
Oh yes, that's my favorite thing.
What is there to say? What is there even to say about them? I mean, they just.
I mean,
when you can't, like I said, I've talked to several people.
Yeah.
Who are still involved in the USAPL. I've talked to someone who's now on the executive committee, and they can't diagnose the problems. They can't.
Yeah.
Like they simply cannot admit what their issues are, and so because they can't admit what their issues are,
so I think the biggest thing, and you're kind of explaining it, is nothing is changing, nothing groundbreaking is changing or happening. Like they have the Pro Series prize pool, and it's a decent prize pool from the last time I saw it. Like I mean, that's respectable. Like I can't really be mad on it. But as far as the business goes, they know they're on the decline of memberships, and yet they're giving away more money. They're just sitting on a bank savings right now, trying to dish it out, trying to get people back. To me, that's what it seems like when there's no actual other.
Where's the money? Where's the money at?
I mean, dude, they've been doing this for 40 years. Like
but where they're not giving money out at any means. If they were giving money out at meets, athletes would stay.
They announced it at the Pro Series Raw Nats. I'm pretty sure. Pro Series Raw Nats.
So they are giving out some money at the Pro Series. There is like a 15. There's a 15K top prize.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Pretty good.
Right. It is, but it's not. They fail to realize that the reason that Sheffield is successful is because of the platform and the atmosphere.
Oh yeah,
it's not even. I've learned that it's really not about the money. You have to get money at a certain point before you're able to really do anything. In terms of that.
Like me as a lifter looking at Sheffield, I really don't think about the money aspect. I'm like, this is just cool. Like this is
right.
Just
It's all the best lifters in the world, right?
Yeah. And then think of the money. Like I want to compete there because that means I'm one of the strongest. The energy is going to be awesome. But now the cash prize on top of it's like
it's not enough money to get someone to stay.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it is. It's just not 15K for stuff. I think that's crazy. I think for I'm trying to think of who I would, if I'm Bob Matthews, I'm not going to Sheffield. Why would he not stay in the USAPL to collect that much of a bag? 15 grand for a day.
15 grand is good. I mean,
not for a day. I know it's not. Listen, 15 grand is not a lot of money, but for one day of work, if you're a powerlifter,
that's insane.
That's the second biggest prize in all of powerlifting. The biggest prize is the Sheffield first. The second biggest one is that one.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you're right on that aspect. I think with these athletes, though, they know it's that 1 year. If he decides to go back, is it going to be worth the 4 years or the year you sacrifice in IPF Article 14? I think they know that the branding of PA is so superior than USAPL that it's that
the
USAPL
it's so toxic right now that even if someone like Austin Perkins said, hey, I'm gonna do Sheffield and then I'm gonna go back and try to collect the 15K, it would still not the brand is just so bad.
Even if it's even if you know you're not going to go to Sheffield next year, let's say you just know there's a whole new generation coming up. You went to Sheffield this year, next year you're not going to make it. It's still, I still don't think anyone would go there just because there's nothing behind it. Like we said, the energy is people in it, like Sheffield, PA, but I think overall the branding of PA, the energy of it makes more sense to the USAPL branding. Like,
and also the thing is the way the prize pool is kind of tiered out is that the money gets less and less towards the bottom. And
Yeah.
so there's really no reason for one of those athletes to go and do that meet and only make like $1,000. It's just not, it just doesn't make any
you
sense.
paid for your travels. Like, that's pretty much it.
But yeah, and then so at that point, it's like it's irrelevant because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, unless you're that first place, maybe second, because I think it's still about 7,500 for second. Is it worth that branding hit? Like, take that branding hit, and it's already been shown. All of the IPF or the Powerlifting America winners beat every single one of USAPLs, I think, except for like 1 or 2 weight classes. Like,
No, it's a full sweep.
Is it? Okay. I think there was one like lightweight or something.
No.
It might have been for age group.
No, maybe.
Yeah.
No, definitely not junior. The junior level is even worse.
No, well, I'm saying just in general, you may be a national champion for USAPL. You're not a national champion in Powerlifting America.
You're not. No, I mean, you're not a national champion in general. All the talent is, yes. I mean, there's no one, not even anyone in the USAPL will dispute that. They were even trying to argue me that equipped lifters are still in the USAPL. I'm like, I didn't know any of the facts, but I looked it up and I'm like, wait, 11 of the top 15, the top 11 total are all in PA. So I don't get your argument.
Yeah.
Now, so Equip they have more money on the Equip side. They have a $7,000 first place equipped. So that may be why some people are staying. But yeah, obviously, everyone knows my disdain for Equipped, so I guess we can get into that. So I am running a money meet in March called MPG Madness. It's got a $2,000 prize pool. It's literally just
that's good.
It's literally so here's the logic behind it. The reason I designed this meet is because I want to start working on I don't want to say a series, but I want to work on a progression for local lifters. I kind of got onto a side quest. Me doing a side quest, I would never do that. That would never happen.
Yeah.
Okay, I got into the side quest. I'm like, I want to create, because the problem right now is, why the fuck would you do a local meet? If you can get, PA has fucking dropped the fucking ball, letting people qualify for nationals outside of a local meet. You're literally destroying your own business.
What do you mean?
Okay. If you qualify once, you do one local meet, you qualify for once, you do NAS, you can use that total to qualify for next year's national.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's fucking stupid as fuck.
USAPL had the same thing.
Brendan, make sure you reclip this. It's stupid as fuck. Every single year, I don't care if you're Jesus Oliveras, I don't care if you're Austin Perkins, you do a local meet to qualify for NATS, right? Every single year. The qualification window starts the day after nationals, right? You have to do one local meet. I think that's
fair.
I don't care if it's fair. It's not fair. So I mean,
you're saying. I think what you're saying.
I don't care if it's
sense.
fair to the athletes. I don't give a fuck. Okay, we're running an organization. Okay, if you're running the organization, you need to do things in the best interest of the organization. We as local directors need people to do our meets, right? And if you're just going to let them skip our meets to go to nationals, it's absolutely ridiculous. It helps no one except those athletes. Okay, go to a local meet, hit a QT. And then here's how it should work. Here's how the incentive structure should be. If you want to make prime time at the next nationals, they are only going to accept totals the day after the previous nationals, all the way through the month before the next nationals.
Yeah.
Okay. So now if you want to make prime time, you actually have to compete for that spot. And I know this is never going to happen because people up top are pussies and don't want to fucking stand up. No, it's ridiculous. It's like, are we running in, like, there's no Dana White in powerlifting. Okay, there's no one who's just like, no, we're not going to do this shit. right? There's
Yeah.
no one like it. Everything's a committee, and it's not even individual people. Everything's a fucking
Yeah.
committee, and it's absolutely insane. It's like someone's got to stand up and be like, no, we're doing it this way because it's in the best interest of the organization, right? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. It helps no one, right? Except those 3 or 4 athletes. It doesn't help PA because the bigger issue right now is that people can use Sheffield to qualify for Worlds, which is absolutely insane. You should have to do nationals prior to you should have to
I
do
agree.
nationals. I mean, Matt Gary is
I kind
right
of agree
about
with
that.
you on there. I
Like,
do think,
you can't. You get to skip the Olympic trials and you get to go right to the Olympics. It's
Yeah.
absolutely insane. Like, it helps those 2 or 3 athletes, right? It may help
Yeah.
our world team, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I kind of agree with you on the local meet. It makes sense. Like, I honestly didn't think of it because to me, that is a smaller demographic. And in Georgia, we don't necessarily have a lot of those, like, they're in the top 2 for the open classic divisions. We've got a lot of strong athletes, and a lot of them do local meets. But I mean, that makes sense. Now, my thing, I'm sure you agree with me on this, is all right, these high level athletes that are planning Sheffield, Worlds, Nationals, like those are their pinnacles, is having those premier meets. Like maybe not those local meets, but like you've kind of talked about, we have the local and those premier. Like the SBD Raleigh. SBD Raleigh was the most beautiful meet I've ever been to. Like it was the perfectly ran event. Now it's all right, we need to do this for have a note, like you said, kind of series, and that's what we're wanting to do. If like the
Yeah, I guess the only problem with meets like Raleigh is that they're just huge money losers. Like
not
they're
not
just
really
huge.
though.
They're just huge money pits. I mean, what do you? So you have a $12,000 prize pool. You have the venue rental costs.
So I
You
wasn't
have
really talking about the prize pool as much. The prize pool I wasn't talking about as much.
Yeah.
More of the quality of the meat. Like outside of the prize pool, I know
right,
SBD
but no.
helps.
So I guess my question is, how do you run a quality of meat like that? I mean, you'd have to charge a ridiculous entry fee to
I
do a
mean,
meet like that.
to me, I would say no, because you're having. If I were to base off of looking from the outside in to Raleigh, and now if I want to do the other thing with the Atlanta Open, like Atlanta Open, we didn't have Raleigh level lifters, but we had about a level or 2 below them. And we had it so the entire second session funded itself into the athletes. You had custom jerseys, backpacks, all the stuff. But Raleigh was the perfectly executed as far as the layout, design, like it was beautiful, looked great. The live stream was handled perfectly. The advertising was great. They had separate rooms with the media crews to handle all these like high level athletes. I think if you had that as a higher standard for like that's the standard those athletes want. Those 500 plus or 100 GL plus
Yeah, I
athletes.
guess I just don't know how do you fund that. I mean,
So
the
ta-
things you just named were
yeah,
thousands and thousands of dollars. Like
take
there's
out the
just
prize pool. Let's take out the prize
we take
pool.
out the prize pool. Okay, so you're doing a venue rental, which is like
Yeah,
5,000.
normally around sometimes.
Okay,
Yeah, let's call
okay,
it
like
not.
5,000 is like fair. Like that's fair.
Yeah, let's
You're
call
talking
it
about
let's call 5,000 all in. You've got first session that kind of handles like most of the payments and stuff, and second session, which is at higher level. Like for
okay. So
Atlanta,
you're talking about using the first session, which is like
it helps. It
how
helps,
many
and you
lifters?
don't
How
sure,
many lifters?
yeah. Because I mean, SBD Raleigh also had a first session that
Well,
probably
no, I'm saying
handled.
how many lifters are in the first session?
I mean, call it 28, call it 42. I mean, for us, Atlanta Open was a 2 platform first session, which had about 55, 60 lifters total. That we could have just conformed into one platform and do a little bit less, and we could have gone a smaller venue where it would have been cost less, a little bit less. The production side is where you're going to be on the other side of it. So, like us, like Top Set Media isn't far away from us. If we want to hit them up and say, hey, we have the series we want to do, we want to hire them, their rates are very reasonable. Like it's a for what they bring, the floating cameras, all the angles, very reasonable. If I want to pursue that more, I can hire them to come down. I know you're the owning it, and I'm a big, I would rather own stuff, but just for right now, what we're talking about,
Oh,
having
I mean
like,
the live stream stuff, owning the live stream stuff, I think is like, dude, so for all the shit that I just bought,
yeah,
all in right now. So the laptop was like 800. It's a really nice
that's good.
laptop.
Yeah.
The roadcaster, the cameras and stuff, dude. I'm only in it for like $1,500. Like, there's no
That's
reason
good.
why. I mean, a floating camera is probably looking at like 1,200 if you really want everything.
Yeah.
So, and then you need someone to run it, right? That's the piece
So
that's missing. That's the piece that's expensive. But no. So what I'm saying is, everything you've talked about, I still don't know how you fund it. Like, I still just don't know where the money comes from.
what
Like,
are
you
you?
could break
What are you?
even maybe, but
On
like,
what?
you can maybe break even. I'm just so like, listen,
Yeah.
if you think you can do it, I want to see. I do want to see, like, how do we budget? Like,
Yeah.
if you own the, listen, I could do that because I don't have a $5,000
Yeah.
ticket on a venue,
Like
right?
for us, like I mean, that's our goal. Like Atlanta Open and like the prime time, that was our goal. I wish we were able in a better position to have like Top Set do the live stream, do a couple of small little tweaks for design area, which could have been a possibility if our original deal had held up and stuff. And I think we would have been there, or at least very close. Because we did like interviews with some of the athletes beforehand, trying to get the stuff situated. And I don't think it's that far off if you can also find the venues that work well. And I mean, like we've said, we have to find other ways to there to be more money. And like the circulation of money has to be more. There has to be a lot more to
Yeah.
make it
I
work.
mean, the whole thing I'm saying is just
Yeah.
like, people, like, take the prize pool out of it. I
Yeah.
still, you're still gonna have to, now, you're still gonna have to explain to me how you either break even, or you do have to make a profit. If you break even, it's irrelevant because you have no money to reinvest. You have to make
Yeah.
some sort of a profit. And so my question is, how do you run a meet to that level of standard? I mean, you can, but you're gonna have to charge
Yeah.
$200 an entry, which I don't think is like, which is a lot. That's a fuck ton.
Yeah.
But if you provide that level, professional live stream, multiple cameras,
Yeah.
all these amenities, you provide that sort of thing, then I think it's really practical to do. And obviously, I own, like,
Yeah.
I'm in the 1% of 1% situation where I own a massive facility with
Yeah.
stage lighting and stuff.
And I mean, it helps a lot. From what we see and what we're doing, like the festivals is going to be a big looking into it because that's where we
Yes.
want to
Yes.
show it. Like that's where our
Because
like we're planning.
those usually don't cost much. You can usually get into a festival for nothing because you're going to draw people with tickets, depending on the
Yeah, and
festival
that's
itself.
like just being straight up. That's our hope and plan. We're building this thing where we're expecting lots of spectators, and that's how we want to make money. And for us, that's what we want to help put back into. Like us, we do powerlifting. We want to host higher level premier events where, all right, people who just did nationals, you want to come here because this is where it's going to be fun to be at, and this is what you want to do. So we're going to build it. We're doing different layouts, like our state meet. We're trying out different layouts and designs, kind of, because they have to be different than just banners. Like we've been doing banners. We're like, we want to change it up a little bit. And with the
I should
gauntlet,
just let you guys run a meetup here. I have
not driving.
everything. I just don't have to. Then I don't have to run it. And you
I don't
guys,
know about.
it solves your problem because you don't have to. I wouldn't charge
Oh,
anything. I just let you guys
perfect.
do. We'd split the kitty and we'd figure it out.
That's not so much. If I just don't have to move equipment, that'd be awesome. I'm tired of
No,
being
I
in
mean,
box
we have
trucks.
everything. I just bought
Yeah.
3 more Alicos, so we're all Alico now.
I like
And
that.
so yeah, and end of year, little tax
Yeah.
thing I had at the end of the
Yeah,
year.
the little tax deductions right there. Yeah.
Yep, literally, it was like end of the year. I'm like,
Yeah.
free combos. But yeah, I mean, and we just expanded our power through room too.
That's awesome.
So yeah, no, it's nice. It's got 6 platforms, and then it's got some auxiliary space and stuff. And It's
Yeah.
got a bay door too. So
That's nice.
it's a really nice space. I'll have to have you. I got to have you guys come out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to come up for something soon.
Actually, I would just have you guys for my state meet. Then I can get some natty. I can get some rest. You guys roll 3 deep, right? That's what your dad says. We
roll 3 deep. Oh yeah.
No, that'd be fun because you guys could do the Chicago City stuff. We might have to. Maybe we'll do a trade. I'll trade my deadlift jack.
Oh shit! I want one so bad.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, I have one of the. Dude, this is an artifact. Artifact is like. This is a piece of memorabilia.
I want it so bad.
I have not one but 2.
Yeah.
IPF bench worlds, not benches.
Yeah.
Not plates, not platforms, deadlift jacks.
I've told my mom. like the second I saw it, and we talked about this back in Texas. Me and my parents, I'm like, I want this deadlift jack, and I want to turn it. Oh, this is
Yeah, no,
stupid.
you should
But
literally, you know how they like, you should get a big fish tank, pour resin into the fish tank, and then just have just
I
take it
want to turn it into
everywhere.
a coffee table.
Yeah, turn it into a
That's what I
coffee
want.
table,
I
please.
want it to be a coffee table. I'm either going to take it to a welder, put another leg on it so I lean it all the way back, or just epoxy it would be even better. Like just a big
I'm trying to
block.
think. So like, but it's such a weird shape because it's a deadlift jack.
Yeah, I want to do it so bad. And I told my mom that like back then, and she's like, "I'll kill you if you ever do that." I'm like, "I got to do it. Like I have to. This
I'm
is the
trying to think
greatest thing ever."
what I would do. Yeah, the epoxy thing would be cool.
Yeah,
Like I have to do something with mine for sure.
yeah. My
It is
dad's
okay.
like,
So by the way, for those who don't know, it's the worst deadlift jack. It's the most dog shit
awkward.
deadlift jack of all time. They make
If
some
the
nice
lip
stuff.
was any bigger,
Just make the fucking lip bigger. You guys are watching. I heard that the engineers were watching Bench World to make sure the clips were like working. I'm like, well, how about you look at the deadlift jack? Did you take a second to be like, why is it taking so long for them to load the part of the deadlift jack?
like just ever so slightly a little bit.
They built
bigger.
the craziest mechanism for moving the things in and out, and then just built the worst deadlift jack of all time. No, and the deadlift jack looks beautiful. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Stuff, and then they just make the cups too small. It's like
any big a half inch, it would be the best deadlift
literally,
jack
like, what do you do? Like, just do. You know what? I think a lot of times people just don't give people feedback, and they're like, "Oh, this is fine." Like,
I'm gonna go to a welder and add lips on all mine.
Did they not test it? That's the bigger question. Did they not test it? Like, how do you not test something like that?
I'm sure I don't know, because I don't know. That's the one bad thing about it.
Like if they had just like, so like for those, like I'm trying to describe how it is, but it's like this, okay? It's like the size of a barbell. It's like this big, okay?
Yeah.
And all they needed to do was make it like this. That's it. It's like this.
Yeah.
All they had to do was, I can't bend my thumb. They had to bend it so it's open like this, and then you could just. But instead, it's like this, and so sometimes it doesn't quite fit.
It's got to fit perfectly on there, and a little bit wider too would have been nice. A little bit wider.
Sure, but anyway, but yeah, a little bit wider, because then when you do heavy ones, it doesn't sag as much. Sure, yeah, they could have done that stuff. Would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, the lore of the are USAPL international affiliations? I don't care. Are we really gonna talk about that? I mean, college level. I mean, I don't think Fed should be involved in the college level. I'm sick of it because they're not doing anything right now. PA's dropping the fucking ball because they don't have enough manpower to manage the college level.
Yeah, I think
like you need to go to the coaches, go to every single coach. Okay, go to the coaches who are in the USAPL. I know they all have relationships at Midland. Go to the coaches and say, hey, we're doing something new. Okay.
Yeah.
What you're going to do is you're going to get every coach who's got a legit politics program. You're going to go to them and you're going to say, hey, we're done with federation politics. It's over. It's done. Okay.
Yeah.
The collegiate level is going to be run by the collegiate coaches. Okay. And PA needs to do the same thing they do with the high school feds. PA says if you are doing a competition in your high school fed, you're exempt from Article 14. Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's
totally
what it
correct.
is.
That's absolutely correct. If you are competing for your high school in the high school federation, the Article 14 shouldn't apply to you. That's correct. They should do the exact same thing on the collegiate level. They should find all the collegiate coaches. They just say, hey, you're going to form your own federation. Okay. All the collegiate coaches are going to elect their own executive director. Executive director is going to run the organization. That's the Roger Goodell of the organization. It's really not that complicated. I mean, I should just fucking organize this shit. I should just go to all the coaches and be like, hey, it's time for you guys to take control of your shit. Okay?
Unfortunately, like I'll speak for Georgia. Powerlifting is not I'll just be powerlifting is not a respected sport here, because for the colleges at least, they could not care less.
It's not a respected sport anywhere. And for good reason. Like
I mean, but they don't care really anything that we do and what's going on there. And a lot of these powerlifting programs in like colleges, at least in like Georgia, it's not we have a powerlifting coach and they handle the team. All of them have their own individual
Right.
coaches.
No, he's right. So that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there
Yeah.
are probably 50 or so varsity teams across the country. Each one of them, like for example, Greenville. I have a relationship with Greenville. Greenville, I've had Scott on the show before. We have a relationship with Greenville, and Greenville, they have a varsity program. It's funded by the school, and
That's
so
nice.
yes, it's beautiful. They have a beautiful facility, and so what should happen is Scott and who's the coach down there, and all the other coaches should get together and they should form their own powerlifting league, basically. And then they decide how they want competitions to go. They decide how they want to run. They decide the rule set, whatever. Okay, they design all that stuff. And then the top lifters, after that, if they want to go to IPF Worlds, then they can go to the IPF. Then they can go to Powerlifting American Nationals. They should be able to use QTs from those meets to go. Like it's just like, come on, like let's get it going. Let's figure it out. I don't think there's anyone who's gonna like in the college level that's gonna like grab it and like really form something like that.
What sucks the most about it, and I mean, I know you're in the same point of we want the sport has to evolve if anybody wants more money circulating. Like if we want bigger prize pools, if we want bigger, better events, there's going to be obstacles of, all right, we have to do something brand new that hasn't been done and we have to grab onto and start pushing it. The problem is,
wait, hold on. Sorry, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need to do anything brand new that's already been done. How about we just do the shit that works for other sports leagues?
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
First? Can we do that first before we start like doing crazy?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We want to go to these, like SBD Raleigh was a beautiful standard I'm going to base off of for these premier events. Like we're talking about premier events. These aren't that crazy, but like nobody wants to do it. The national, there's not enough communication going on. That's a big thing that I'm annoyed with. There's not enough communication, and there's so much more that could be done level.
Hold on. What is there to communicate right
now? Well, one, I've told you about our whole nationals situation where we weren't told anything about it. Coming to Georgia, the nationals, that's literally 20 minutes down the road for me. We had no idea about it until the day before they announced it because we asked, and we had a meet that was already sanctioned 3-4 months before this, the weekend before. The Gauntlet of Powers the weekend before. Like, just communication. Bare minimum of that. Tell us what's going on. And I mean...
Well, I think a lot of times they don't know what's going on, so it's not like,
I mean, that's what it sounds like. Then we got to figure that out. Y'all, if you're getting paid to do this, then
I think that's a bigger ask than you think. So, like, I put up that little question thing. It was like, what's your problem with your Fed? And someone mentioned something about the social media, which is a big thing about. I mean, they haven't posted in 6 days. Like, what do you want me to do? Just keep crying about it? Like, I feel like an idiot. I feel like an absolute idiot. If I keep crying about how they don't post on social media often enough, I'm just look like an idiot. I'm like yelling at the clouds. It's like the solution is if people are not acting properly, the solution is just to, I think for most some people want to try and affect change, which is very, very difficult. I think typically the solution is just to kind of just stay in your own lane. Like, which is sad. It's so sad. Like, we all want to help, right? And it's just like we have to stay in our own lane.
I understand and agree with you on my end. The very simplest, I wanted an email. Like, just send me an email. This is happening. Now, on the other things, it's
right. And I think the reason they ended up choosing that venue and that
the reasons
is
behind
because of the USAW. It's because they want to share the venue because of the drug testing fees. That's fine. I mean, maybe.
I mean, I know there were some other reasons there, but I mean,
well, cost, I think is a big. Cost, I think, was a big.
Yeah, thing. I know that was the biggest thing on it.
Fine, because.
But here's the thing, we had put in a couple bids. We literally have a venue the weekend before at a convention center that we could have rented out for 4 or 5 days and covered you. Like Open Nationals, I know that's their baby and stuff. At the very least, we have a venue. Like, hey, I'll pay for y'all's venue. Cool. That's fine by me. And I would have covered it like that, and I'll keep the door. Like, that's a fair deal just on our end.
That's a lot. The door's a lot of money. That's a lot.
Well, that's what they're doing at this meet. That's the whole thing. like from basic understanding, I don't know. All of this is what I hear around. Utah is the one that paid for the venue and they keep the door. That's what I've understood and heard. And that's just what's happening. Cool. But we could have easily just done the same thing because it's a whole
Well,
thing.
no, I think the shared water expense is going to be enough.
And I'm sure that's it too. And you know what? It's cool. It kind of is what it is at this point. Just they're small things. I know they have to be busy. They're busy all the time. They're at Worlds all the time discussing things.
Well, no. Hold on. I really don't care how busy they are. I volunteered. I said I would do 5-10 hours
that's true.
Of shit if they needed stuff. I mean, it's not like I'm like and like to be able to get someone who has the resume and experience that I do, owning the largest powerlifting gym in the country.
You would think that it'd be like, hey, I know what I'm doing.
They'd be like, hey, maybe, and like, hey, I've delivered for them as not only the state of Illinois, but I've delivered the largest potential sponsor, and so I'm never going to do that again, obviously, because they dropped the ball on that. But like, it's almost like it's almost not even like it's just better. I hate it's just such a negative and such a bad mindset. But like, it's almost better at this point to just do your own thing, because you're not going to get where you need to go. Because, and it's not because of the people involved are bad. It's just because the structure of the organization is structured in a committee-like fashion. And because it's structured in a committee-like fashion, things just don't get done. And like, we're doers. Like, I want to make one thing very clear, and Brendan, make sure you clip this. Me and Andrew do, I want to say, between the two of us, 20 some meets. We direct 20 some meets. We can complain all the fuck we want, and we can criticize you and whoever's listening and whoever in any organization as much as we want, because we actually do shit. Okay, we can criticize you all day long, and if you don't think our criticism is fair, then you got to explain to me why it's not. Because I guarantee I'm just leveling criticism because because I'm bored sometimes. Sometimes I do. That's true. Sometimes I do, but there's no reason why a lot of the stuff we talk about can't be addressed. And because we do stuff, we actually take action. We can criticize all we want.
What I think, like a
and
quick
don't take
thing,
it personally. We want to help, but like, don't take it personal.
A quick thing was like, you talked about the social media thing. They should post. Why couldn't we do a ESPN style of, hey, Russell Horry benched 470? Just a quick little, even if it's not in the profile, just keeping it on the real grid. Where, all right, every 2-3 days, there's
dude. Okay, so I sent a very lengthy email. I basically said, hey, I understand you have no staff. I understand it's very, very difficult. Okay, you don't.
They're a new business,
dude. I did it. You literally have every single top level powerlifter is a fucking influencer. They all generate content. Okay. And so they all
have
generate,
to. That's the only way they can make
content.
money.
So all you need to do is say, hey, we want to promote the sport of powerlifting. Add us as a collaborator to your content. And then all you have to do is watch the content, decide if it's good, and then accept the collaboration. It's not that. It's like, is it optimal? No, it's not optimal. It's not optimal. I mean, but actually, it might be optimal. It might get a lot of views and stuff. Do giveaways with athletes.
But I mean,
it's the giveaways are one of, if you're running a business of any size and any kind, okay? If you're running a business, okay? If the giveaways are one of the best things you can possibly do, because here's what you do. You do the giveaway. I do a free year membership. You give away a free year membership, okay? And then you do a collaboration with like another account, and you say, you need to follow this account, follow this other account, like, share. It's good engagement. And then you give away something, right? And then what I do is everyone who enters the giveaway, I send them a quick little message. Hey, thanks for entering our giveaway. Sorry you didn't win, but here's a link to our website, right? And I just drive some traffic that way. Yes.
That's brilliant.
Yes, it's very basic, like good marketing. And again, this goes back to what I talked about earlier, where there's no incentive, there's no financial incentive for people to do that. So it doesn't like get you out of bed. Like, I get out of bed in the morning, I'm like, let's make the money. Like, whereas like, you know, you're in PA, you're like, you know, it's kind of a volunteer based thing.
It's kind of like, all right, this is it. There's not much more to grow on
there's
top of.
There's no incentive. And here's the thing,
Yeah.
the board could easily structure an incentive contract for who's ever in charge. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I think they should. The bigger the pie can get, like we talked about for outside of federations, whatever it is, as long as the sport of powerlifting grows, the pie is going to get bigger and everyone's going to get a bigger slice. If we can post PA reshares, someone's bench, deadlift, squat, whatever, maybe that grabs another kid in Wisconsin, like, you know what, man, this is cool. I want to do it. Maybe it's another one in California, USAPL. Maybe it's
well,
someone
no,
in
no.
Georgia,
So
PA.
what they've argued is that it can be a favoritism thing if certain people aren't getting collaboration. I'm like, I don't
Okay.
care. You're not posting. It doesn't matter. If you were
Yeah.
posting more frequently, it
Yeah.
would matter, but it doesn't. Dude, they haven't posted in 6 days.
Yeah.
I literally
Like,
check. I constantly check because here's the thing. It's
Yeah.
for me and you, when they post more content, more people watch. When more people watch,
Yeah.
it's more likely they might be interested in doing a meet. The more people who are interested in
We're
doing meets,
still trying to get people over.
not even get people
Like,
over. How about just get people interested in the sport in general?
Yeah.
Okay. Like
Yeah.
these are long-term things. Like you need to be constantly immersed in these ecosystems to eventually get to the point where, you know, you can do stuff. It takes a lot of marketing is not one ad in your face. It's 15 different ads that build your emotional bond to things.
Yeah. It's got to keep growing.
Yeah, it's like like Russ says, they talk about all the time how many people Russ brought into the sport. It's true. Like it's a true thing. I mean, how many even if he wasn't the reason, he contributed to the general ecosystem. So
Yeah.
I'm
Like if someone
definitely
says, yeah, I joined it because I saw these people, I guarantee he was one of them. Like that's just what it is. And if you're seeing the federation that you would want to join, like there's a whole untapped market of people that are in these commercial gyms that still train. Like they're training. I guarantee you their feed still has a bunch of gym stuff. All right, how can we pull them over? Like
right.
there has to be something pulling them in, because
Well,
there's the powerlifting
found,
market, then there's the untapped commercial market.
yeah. So what I found worked really well is what I would so the most important sauce to growing the local level is having a gym like mine, because my gym appeals to we have bodybuilders, we have powerlifters, we have a massive facility,
You
we have
do everything.
So what happened is kids would come in and they would join the gym for the gym. And then they would see the powerlifting stuff and they would start deadlifting, they would start squatting, they would start benching. Then they would see a couple signs in the gym. Hey, there's a meet coming up. Hey, there's a meet coming up. Now I was charging like $20 for a meet entry, which obviously is like, crazy.
Yeah.
And so
That's a shirt and a medal.
yeah, that basically, yes. And that we would make money on the ticketing from the parents, so we'd about break even. It actually wasn't the worst.
Yeah.
We did lose some money at first. And it was like early entry only. So it was like the first couple weeks you could enter and it actually worked really well to getting new people into the sport. So I was really happy with that. That's really how what I would do is if there was a person in charge of growing the local level, I would literally go to every hybrid gym and I would put up signs with the meets and I would run a little mock. And then I would get people's emails and stuff. I'd run the mock meet. I'd get people's emails, be like, hey, did you like this? Try a big one. Buy a real big one. Come try a real big one. And so like you can build real businesses and infrastructures. You can. It does take a lot of time and it takes effort and it's sometimes crazy. And I'm kind of stressing out just thinking about how I would do something like that. But it's genuinely possible. And so I think it definitely can
something big on my side, like a big reason, like I see something bigger happening. All of my younger sisters have done competitive cheerleading. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but they travel.
That's funny. That's funny.
Oh, they travel all over the country, and the setups, the venues are immaculate.
Makes
and
you
to
look
me,
makes Power to America look like a kitty.
Oh yeah, like it's right now it's no hate on PA for that because cheerleading is insane. And I mean, it's why not, man? Like, why couldn't we do something like this? Like, I mean, they're at convention centers. All right, I'm starting to migrate to that area. Now it's how can we get the production better? All right, how can we get these families to enjoy the time here while they're here? They've got all these little kiosks. little sponsors and stuff that they've got where they're just churning all day. Like, I mean, they've got thousands of people going through there, and it's a different model, of course, because they've got thousands of cheerleaders, and we'd have double digits, maybe triple digits in one day. So it's a different thing, but it's there. Like, you could push it. Like, there's 4-year-olds doing the cheerleading all the way up to like the 18. The powerlifting demographic can do that. Like, it's gonna take a long time. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially if you've been to the cheer comps, because they are insane. The production is just phenomenal. But I think it can get there, especially if you push it the proper ways.
Well, what people don't realize is the benefit of cheerleading is that it's just a younger demographic. So it's
Yeah.
more the parents are the customer.
Yeah, which
And
cool.
so yeah, it's great, right. I mean, that's where like I I don't have enough time for this, but I really want to do it, is I want to do a youth strength program at my
Yeah,
gym.
I think every gym should have that.
Yeah,
Personally, I think
and then
that's a
what I want is you sign up for the youth strength program, you run it for 12 weeks, and then at the end, you do a meet.
yeah,
And so I think that'd be really cool because you bring all these kids in, you train them, you do a cool meet, and
yeah,
then the parents come to the meet and they go, "Yeah,
yeah.
hey Johnny did a deadlift," and like that would be really really cool.
If you have a summer camp where it's literally that, all right,
Yes, 12 weeks,
you come
12 weeks,
in,
3 days a week.
school's
Come in,
ended,
learn to squat, bench, deadlift,
you suck.
learn the
Like, all
basics,
right,
learn how to
parents that
lift
still have
safe
to
and
work.
effectively.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
parents that have to work, perfect. Right before you take them, go to work, drop your kids off. We'll handle them. We're gonna coach. We're gonna have a training camp. It's gonna be fun. And then at the end of summer, we're gonna have a meet, like a small
Yes.
little meet, like something like that. I think is pinnacle and would
Well,
be
no, so
incredible.
that is literally Powerlifting America's job. Powerlifting America,
Yeah,
their constitution says they're designed to promote the sport of amateur powerlifting. Like,
yeah,
I shouldn't be doing that. I mean, as a gym owner,
yeah.
it's a good thing. But like,
Like, it's
that's
hard.
literally what they should be doing. Is
Yeah,
like promoting.
like, and setting it up is going to be hard, but I don't think it's impossible. Like,
That's something we
especially,
should all get together on. We should all
yeah,
get together and we should find someone and we should make a program and then make it a program
yeah,
that everyone can deploy. And like we would
yeah,
manage it like on our own, but like if we just had a unified we could call it like I thought about calling it just lifting. So it's just
yeah,
lifting or just lift kids or something. Just
yeah.
lift kids. Yes.
Just
Just
some
yes.
program to keep it going.
And then it can have a website, it can have its own little thing, and you could find the program in your area, and kids could learn how to lift, and
Yeah,
that's how you do grassroots type stuff.
yeah,
Um,
and you need that.
yeah,
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea that I think a lot of gym owners should be doing. Like, I mean, just in general, I mean, I don't see it's a demographic that would have, like, the coach or teacher, whatever it is, would have to actually know what they're talking about. Like, powerlifters, strongmen, they know the foundation of strength training. Like, they know form is everything. They know the safety is literally the pinnacle of all of it, and that's how you become stronger. And like, I think that's what needs to be pushed. Like, if you could push that and it actually grows, you've just started a whole new ground system of either your area or across the country of, all right, this is how it upholds. So
yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
I mean, we're all on the same page. Great combo. Actually
yeah,
went a little longer. Brendan, we're gonna we'll do Juwan either. We'll do its own episode, maybe Friday or something. Friday or maybe Monday. Maybe I think Craig wanted to talk about it, so maybe we do something there. But yeah, I do have to wrap things up because today's a busy day.
yeah. No, you're good. I gotta walk into
Believe it
the
or not, in the
gym.
gym world, this is one of the busier days.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else you want to wrap up on?
No, I mean, that was great. Now I'm like amped up, ready to start working on some. I'm at the gym right now. I'm like, all right, I'm about to whip my laptop out here.
Yeah,
let me scheme some things.
we gotta do our own ladies of iron. You know how they used to do that? We
My
gotta do
sister
that.
wants to do that really badly.
Yeah, we gotta do that. I don't want to do. I don't know. But I want to do it with everyone. I want to do it
Yeah,
like I
a
think
nationwide thing.
yes, it should be like yeah, definitely a nationwide thing. Like honestly, you know what we should do? We should try it December 4th. What is that? That's too close. That's too close. But like December 14th, we have a ton of meets. And so
When?
December 14th. There's like 15 meets on the calendar. We should
Oh, I
every
got
year
you,
on
yeah.
December 14th, we should do one big thing. And like everyone chip in
Yeah.
like $20. If everyone chipped in $20 an entry and we had like 1,000 lifters, that's a 20 grand prize pool. And then we could do like, we could split it up however, but that would be like, that would
Yeah,
get like,
that'd
that
be
would get a
pretty
lot of people engaged.
A
Yeah.
nationwide tournament would be a sick event.
Yes, that would be. And there's no reason you can't. I mean,
That'd
you
be
could
sick.
easily do it. Like it's
Yeah.
really not like it would be like kind of like,
Yeah.
like one little administrative thing. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, I gotta go.
Okay.
This is Listen Commands. I'm Sebastian Carcione. That's Drew Cargill. Producer extraordinaire Brendan. We'll see you all next time.
Y'all have a good one, guys.